show, guys. How you guys doing? You ready for show 2? Yeah. All right, this one is a topic that is something I get a lot of requests about, self-love. Has anyone dealt or grappled or thought or wished for more of that in their lives? Can I get a show of hands? Yeah, right? So this topic is one of the most perennial things, and I think it's fitting because the mind is not the part, like we talked about in episode 1, that does the loving. It's trying and imitating, but it isn't the thing. So today's episode with the 3 guests we have are going to talk all about that subject, and hopefully they will get realizations as well as everyone else. So we're going to start with Mary in the hot seat first.
I'm 59 years old, and I have been on this journey of self-discovery to find out why I keep self-sabotaging myself and achieving my goals. I seem to be able to keep my commitments to others, but when it comes to myself, I just don't follow through, or I just hold back, and I get so close and then I just stop. I don't know why. I believe it's emotionally connected to something, but I don't know why I do this to myself, to a point where I literally beat myself up to why I've self-sabotaged myself again and again and start over with my goals. I just would have liked to achieve, at least before the end of my life, some purpose that I've completed for myself.
I gotta say, Mary, we already fell in love with you before you've even got on the show when you sent in your video to be, so thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 59 years old, and I feel like I've been on a search for who I am, and I feel that I try to find out what is causing my own self-sabotage. It's been going on for pretty much of my life, and it's overwhelming at times, and I've listened to Doreen Virtue, Abraham Esther Hicks, Tony Robbins, so many. And my daughter introduced me to you, and I felt like this is it. Like I'm going to be able to work with knowing my inner voice from my mind. And it's hard sometimes because we just keep beating ourselves up trying to please other people at the same time.
Does anyone else relate to that? At any age, it does not matter. It's something that is just the function of what this does when it's running all of the attention.
Right.
Okay, so have you done inner voice work before?
I have, but I can't tell whether it is my inner voice or it's those other voices inside me.
Well, that's great. So this is going to be a very relatable situation for anyone else that's not sure. Are they doing it? We're going to see with you, and anyone else that's in the audience or watching online can actually do this themselves. So ask these questions. We'll figure it out. So don't worry, no pressure. Just be honest as the interpreter that you are, rather than trying to be the thinker of the answers. So you want to receive the answers as much as possible rather than think what they should be. So often I'm going to try to ask questions that go beyond the level of the mind's understanding, and the mind's going to go, whoa, I don't know the answer. And it's like, well, that's the point. You're going to hear something new. So that's a good thing, but the mind gets challenged by that because it thinks it's doing it still. Even though it's hearing, it's like, oh, here's all the answers I already know the answers to. But when it really comes to branching beyond it, there can be some hesitation. So does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Heart or gut feeler?
I'd have to say I'm a heart.
Great. So you're just going to project your bobblehead down into that awareness of the heart and the chest space. Am I okay?
Yes.
How did that feel? That voice that said that? Or
Good.
the feeling, sensation of that?
Good.
All right. I'm okay. Am I safe?
I'm safe.
Am I loved?
Yes.
Why am I loved?
I feel that there are people that I can resonate with that will come into my life that will...
Wait. Whoa. All right. That is a story. What did you hear?
What did I hear?
Why am I loved? Just
I'm not
listen.
really sure.
Deep breath. I know you don't know. You have no friggin' clue, Mary. Because that's the mind saying, the mind is attached to that I, right? So she said, I don't know. Of course, it's a stapler. It's not the scissors. It doesn't know. It has no idea because it's not a knowing mechanism. It's a thinking mechanism. So what I want to do is tap into your inner voice's answer for why you're loved. Because it told you you're loved. Your mind has no idea why. Why am I loved? Deep breath out if you're, thinking a lot. Just take it. No, okay. First, also, it can take a few moments. It doesn't have to be an immediate conversation.
Well, the thing that comes to my heart would be that I'm a being and I'm here for a purpose.
What did you hear or feel or experience? Because I think your mind's still trying to think what the heart should experience rather than receive the experience from the heart. Totally normal, and a lot of people do this. This is very, very helpful. Let's go to another question. All right, so we can also, if you guys, again, if you've hit a block, just ask another question. So I'm loved.
I'm loved.
Okay. I'm safe.
I'm safe.
Okay, so you know that one. How did that experience feel inside?
Good.
Good. And did the love answer feel similar in the experience of it? And in the affirmative, yes?
It feels better.
Okay. Is it okay that I'm not doing this perfectly right now?
Yes.
Why is that okay?
I guess it's my definition of perfect.
What did you hear?
That my definition of perfect could be just as is.
You heard all those words?
Yeah, I'm just feeling that as is.
As is. Does that make sense, guys? Do you see how we just cut through some mind layers and just got straight to the core? As is. It says the whole phrase in 2 words, but when we add all the mind story around it, we can actually color in sometimes outside the lines of what the inner voice is actually saying and get further from its truth into a story that we're just projecting again from up above. Okay, as is. Is everything unfolding perfectly for me right now? Listen. Deep breath out. The mind has so many stories. It's thinking this thing through. I want it to give up, so it listens.
Yes, it feels perfect right now. It does.
Why do you love me?
Why do I love me?
Why? What I want you to do is send the question, why do you, inner voice, love me, which is the identification with the mind. So why does the inner voice love the mind? Just listen for this. You're not needing to think. There's literally no thinking necessary. I don't want you to think.
Part of me just realizes inside that I do have a lot to offer. I just need to be able to get it out right.
I think this is still the mind. It's okay. Is anyone else? Are you guys with me?
59 years of this mind going on.
Yeah.
It's a little tough.
It's had a long track record. You're doing a good job. You already heard. There's nothing wrong with this. This is perfect. You know what we can just do today in this time is just settle into the listening mode.
And that's probably my biggest.
Yes, because you're
issue
also
is
very,
it
like you said, and you set up us perfectly with, I've watched all these people speak, I should know this now, I've consumed all the content up here, that's not accessing wisdom in here. Mm-hmm. So your mind's trying to Rolodex the story that fits my questions rather than receive the answers fresh, right out of the oven. From you, not the stories you've read and the books you've read. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you're doing this perfectly because what you're learning, the most valuable thing is how to do this part, because this is going to be something you can use the rest of your life once you've learned how to listen.
That's the story of my life. That's what I hear people even saying to me, to listen. And it's
Okay,
like
beautiful. Okay, so go down in there. Why is it hard for me to listen to this voice? Just listen, tell me what you hear. Don't tell me anything you think. Just tell me what you hear. Say nothing. If you hear nothing, be honest and say nothing.
What I hear is that I feel that what I'm trying to say or communicate to people, or what I'm feeling to communicate to people, is just either not coming out right or what have you, because if I'm not listening.
This is a lot of words. You're hearing all of this? You're thinking this?
I'm thinking it.
Yeah. So just tell me, okay, you have two choices. You tell me the words you hear, or you say, I hear nothing. I would far rather you say, I hear nothing, I hear nothing, I hear nothing, than to tell me story and story and story, because that's at the level of the problem. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get to the deeper answer, the truth. Okay. So let's try another angle. We just can ask other questions, and eventually one of them might pop out. But okay, you have the two choices: the words you hear, or I hear nothing. That's it.
Okay.
Can I access this inner voice in myself?
Yes.
Should I continue using yes or no questions, or should I open it up to open-ended questions?
I should open it up.
Okay, so I can do that.
Yes,
I am capable.
I am.
Okay. All right, great. Because that's another thing, right? Because you could have even also, you can play with this. Say, should I just ask yes or no's? And then just ask yes or no's. If that's, sometimes, ironically, yes and no's can be harder than open-ended questions. I love a good open-ended question, because then if the answer comes through that's not what my mind was expecting, I trust it more. If I get a yes or a no, my mind can have a bet on one of, like the flipping the coin we said in episode 1. It's like I can have an inkling of what my mind's projecting the answer to be. But if I ask open-endedly, then I get to see, is this something I've thought before, or is this something I haven't thought before? And if I haven't thought it before, that's something new. Okay? This is so good. Yes?
How does your emotions not tied into, like if that's part of your history in your brain, is like the emotions that are tied to what you continuously self-sabotage you?
Right now, we're going to start with step 1, which is how to listen. Because the answers to those questions can come from this, but we need to learn the listening piece first. Okay, so you're getting really good. Now, do you think you're filling in these yeses and nos? Because you're getting consistent yeses and nos that I would say are inner voice answers, but your mind could still be playing the role. It's like I said, Little Red Riding Hood and the grandma, and it's like, is the mind trying to pretend to be the grandma, the wolf in the grandma's clothes? You know, is the mind answering as the inner voice, or is the inner voice answering authentically? So when you get the yes and no, so far every yes and no aligns with inner voice answers, but is that what you're really feeling? And is that different than when you tell us the story? The way that those yes and no's feel versus the story parts? Are they feeling the same or different? Do you think the mind's making up all of it, or just the story ones? The answers to the questions. When I say yes or no, am I loved, am I safe, does that sound different and experience different than when I ask you an open-ended one so far?
No, I would probably continue with open-ended, because I feel like that's where maybe if I listen to myself for a change versus listening to.
But when you say myself, we're going to listen to myself. And that's going to be a big shift that I want to see that moment happen. Because it doesn't have to happen often, but you will now know what that feels like. And once you've got that feeling, you'll then have that as a guide for future questions here and the rest of your life. Okay. So we're going to I like this idea of going down the river with some yes and no's. You're getting in, and then opening it after that. Okay. And what I want you to say is, I hear nothing, or just the words. No embellishment, no thoughts, no story. Because one you said was as is. And you made a whole slew of, you made a paragraph out of those 2 words. But if you kept just to the words, I could keep going.
Okay.
All right. Am I loved?
Yes.
And I'm safe?
Yes.
Have I lived this life perfectly for me?
No.
Why not? Listen, or say nothing. Say that you hear nothing, if that's what the answer is.
I hear nothing.
Okay, beautiful. Deep breath. Did I live this life perfectly?
No.
Why not? Not perfect to the mind. I'm not asking the mind's perception of perfection, because that is never going to be the truth. But to the inner voice. Deep into listen to your chest. Just listen.
Yes, to my awareness.
You hear a yes?
Yes.
Or did you hear yes to my awareness? Which words did you hear? Which ones did you fill in with the mind?
Yes,
Yes.
I have.
I have. Why has it been perfect? Only say the words you hear. Deep breath out. There's no rush. Steep in the yes and let the answer reveal. It said yes. We got the confidence there.
Contentment.
Contentment. There we go. How did it feel to hear that word?
Good.
Good. That's you heard it. Okay, that's the voice you're looking for. Mm-hmm. It'll tell you whatever it's going to tell you, but that's the voice. I've been content this life.
I have been content this life.
So it's been okay, the winding path I've woven.
For the most part.
What did you hear exactly? I want you to be ruthlessly honest with the voice. Just tell me what you heard.
Stifled.
Stifled. Ah. What has been stifling? Just tell me what you hear.
People.
People. Beautiful. You're doing it. You're in it. That's all you need to do is just tell me the words. Have people truly stifled me, or have I allowed my own situation to unfold in that way?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you know, inner voice, about my life?
I've had to be quiet for most of it.
What have you heard? What did you hear?
What have I heard?
What did you just hear? What do you know about my life?
Be seen and not heard.
That's what you heard?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you received just now?
Just now?
Just now?
From the previous question, yes, that's what.
Be seen, not heard. Mm-hmm. That's what I was taught. Mm-hmm. Is that true? Is that truly what my inner voice wants me to do?
No.
Okay, now, open mind, deep breath. What would you like me to do with the remainder of my life, inner voice? What's the most useful message you can share with me right now? Just listen. Like literally, like open your eardrums and open your mind, open your breath, and listen to your chest.
Contentment and comfort.
Beautiful. What does comfort mean?
Warmth around me and to others.
Did you hear exactly those words, or is that a feeling you experienced?
That's what I got.
That's what you got. Okay, good. So I'm here to be a comfort to others.
Yes.
Anything else? Do I need to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro? Do I need to go conquer the internet world? Do I need to have a seven-figure business?
That's where my self-sabotage starts. I can get all the way up that hill, and then I will kick myself right off
the mind will get all the way
up that hill, and then I'll literally the mind will kick me right off the top.
Okay.
Right before
inner
I'm
voice.
reaching.
Why does the mind kick itself off the hill? Just listen. I know you don't know.
I don't. I want to say fear.
Is that what you heard? Ask, did I hear fear from the inner voice?
Did I hear fear from the inner voice? Yes.
Okay, what is the mind afraid of? Just listen, open mind. Pop those eardrums, like blow out the mind. Just listen.
It's, I guess, just letting me be me.
That's all I got to do? Comfort and contentment. Is that what my life is really here for?
Sounds awfully boring, but...
Okay, is it... okay, mind's resistance, that's terribly boring. Drop it down, drop it down. Is it boring? Ask.
Is it boring?
Ask the inner voice. I know the mind's like, I don't have any problems to solve. Are you kidding? I'm so used to these stories. I'm so used to the drama of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do without them.
And that's it. I feel that I create...
Your mind is attached to the story so hard.
Yeah, and I keep creating. If it's not there, I create more because
more
I'm
reasons
so
to self-sabotage. Yes, your mind is habituated. Yes. And so your mind's just telling, or your inner voice is just telling you, if you just relax and enjoy the fact that you are very comforting to everyone you're around, you'll love your life. And your mind's like, but then I don't have anything to staple.
Right. You're right. And I feel like by looking for that, I'm creating my own, what I'm trying to run from. What is that resistance? What you persist?
But you persist. Your law of attractioning all this resistance. And the story is perpetuating, and it's like not even letting you listen.
Yeah.
It's just telling you to love people, and you are. Have you not felt comforted just by, we fell in love with her on the video for 60 seconds. Like, you are comforting. Your essence is that.
Well, thank you. And I think that's where I self-sabotage, because I feel like I can be the word to where I love to meet people, embrace them, but I put up that wall, and I think it's just because emotionally growing up, I had a very depressive, emotionally mother, and I feel like that just, you don't have that happiness. Like, you're always feeling like you are complacent and surviving every day.
Inner voice, can I drop this story? Because that was back then. How old were you?
Years. Well, from what I can remember, it's probably from 7 years where it was deeply ingrained.
Okay, so
in
now
some
we've
trauma.
got, what,
You were
49 years or 60, I don't even, not even do the math. But that story is not true right now.
You're right, it's not true.
I've just told it for so long that it continues to be true. Does that, you see the difference? Stapler, inner voice. Now strobe lighting back and forth, and yours is heavily in the past.
Right.
Where before in the other episode we had someone heavily in the future.
Yes, and I feel and I know we're supposed to use our inner voice, which I try to put it more with my gut, so my mind isn't always...
It's even further from up here, yeah.
But I had read a long time ago, Leo Pascal has an insert in one of his books where, you know, somebody that you want to have a friendship with or a relationship with likes apples, and you try everything you can do to be an apple, but you're an orange. And that's why I feel like I've been that orange trying to be something that I'm not, because I wanted to always have that love and comfort.
All right, now that's just like one thing, one step removed. This is just the story of the mind.
Yeah, right, the story.
This is not you. It's just a story the mind has told. It's a persona, it's a character on Shakespeare's stage that has played the story of the 7-year-old as a 59-year-old.
Yeah.
I actually know another woman who's a dear, dear friend who's in her mid to late 60s right now, and she does the same thing. And it's a neural net that has been repeated over decades of her life, and she's created the same results because of it. Inner voice is just asking you to comfort and love people, and you are doing that, actually, despite all the mental story. It is still an essence and a part of you. How can I drop that story? Let's ask this. Is it possible to drop the story, inner voice?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know, because the mind's like, I've been telling it for so many decades, I don't think I can.
I think
can.
it's
How
possible.
can I drop the story? Listen.
Create a new story?
Okay. Did you hear those words?
Yeah.
Okay.
Create a
What
new story.
is the new story, inner voice? What's the inner voice's story?
I'm going to put one foot in front of the other and get up that hill.
That's what you
And
heard?
I'm going
Wait, did you tell me just the words you heard?
All right, it's
Does
a lot
it-
of words.
Okay,
I know.
so say it slowly.
Go
Say it slowly.
fast.
Say it slowly. What you're hearing directly. Direct translation. Direct words.
And I'm going to do it. I'm going to.
What am I going to do?
I'm going to change my story.
How do I do that? Inner voice.
Have my inner voice.
No, tell me
me
what you're
up.
hearing. I think it's still trying to project thinking into this.
It's going to start simple.
Simple. Did you hear the word simple, or did you
Yes,
hear it's
no.
going to start simple?
It's simple, because that's been beaten at my brain too, and simple is finally coming out. Simple is what it's going to be.
Okay.
gonna
What
get it
is
over.
simple to the inner voice? Deep breath. Your mind is trying to answer these questions so bad.
I have to be happy with myself and what I pick, what I choose to do each day, and commit myself to it.
You heard all of that?
Well,
What did you
It's
get?
carried along a bit. but
Go to the.
It's carried. It's part of my package, but I'm rid of it.
All All right. Let's go down. I have a few more questions for it. I just want you to get used to the listening and be ruthlessly honest with yourself about what you're hearing versus what story is telling. Because this story is read so many books, it has an answer to everything, but it's still in the story of the problem too. Neither are at the level of the solution.
I know I need to listen
What
to
is
my inner
simple?
voice. Simple?
Just tell me the word, just tell me the definition of simple from the inner voice.
No overwhelm.
Beautiful. Do you see how simple that answer was?
Mm-hmm.
Did that feel different than some of these other ones?
Yes.
Yeah. You got it a few other questions too. You're getting it, no overwhelm. What will be useful for me to avoid overwhelm? Just listen. Don't do anything the mind's thought and storied before.
It's contentment.
Contentment.
What's going on right now.
Yeah, right now. And I can tap into that in the present moment.
Yes.
Is that all you're asking me to do, inner voice?
No.
What else?
I have to commit to myself.
Commit to what?
To changing my story.
How would you want me to change the story?
Be more mindful of the present and not of the past.
What exact words did you hear? All of that, or just a few of those words?
The present doesn't affect my past.
There you go. Is there any action you want me to take to amplify this, or just keep reminding myself that?
I think to relax. And make each day more adventurous.
Can I do that?
Yes.
Will you show me how to do that each day?
Yes.
Do I need to decide right now what that day will look like tomorrow?
No.
So each day you'll show me how to do it.
Yes.
And you love me.
I do.
There you go. How do you feel?
I feel good.
So now this is great, because what we've been able to do is see through the stories that it's holding on to. The inner voice doesn't perceive it to be a problem, it just sees it as a story that in the present moment can be released. And you've seen when the mind tries to tell a paragraph when the inner voice is giving you just a few words.
Right.
And you've been able to tap in and sense the difference between when this is projecting what this is, the sheep, the wolf in the grandma's clothes and the Little Red Riding Hood, versus being the grandma.
Yes, and listen to that. Listen.
Yes. You don't,
Listen.
and you've read all the books. That's still just at the level of the problem.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have shifted.
Right.
Which is fine. The books weren't the answer. This is where the answer is. Mm-hmm. That's just giving more information, not realization. When you guys notice we're doing realizations. Realization's another word for enlightenment, and it's when when your consciousness becomes aware of the eternal part of you's perspective on life. And we may not be in a permanent state of that right now, but we can have those moments. Oprah called them aha moments, which are cool too. But aha moments can sometimes just be a fun mental concept as well. So I like the realization. Mm-hmm. It's bringing your consciousness to the awareness of what this is perspective is holding. So this has been a beautiful time for us. And I hope that you continue to be aware of when the mind, even in this type of practice, is trying to tell an old story from a Deepak Chopra book you read one time, and when you're hearing from here. It can tell you what Deepak said, but it'll do it in its own language for you right now. So it's not against those answers, it's just gonna come through in an authentically true, clear way for you in this moment, which it won't need a book, it'll need 3 words. Mm-hmm. And you'll just ask, and you'll get a book's worth of information out of very succinct language, but it'll be wisdom that is directly from the eternal part of you. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Did you have a realization while watching? We want to hear about it. Please send us a message at realizations@jesslively.com. May something wonderful happen to you today.